Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Limitless testing pack, which is a pack of 4 scenarios that includes ascending ovals, Vertigo, layered raceway, and track mania. We're going to start with the easiest one, which is ascending ovals, and work our way up. Ascending ovals. BeamNG have developed a special edition of their 200BX. Test its limits and use the 4-wheel drive to complete 1 lap of an ascending climb before descending down to the finish. Good luck! And yes, I just added good luck to it because if it's not saying good luck, it's like it's wishing poor luck upon me, and I do not need poor luck. Also, one thing I have to point out is they're straight up lying to you. This is not a 4-wheel drive vehicle, and I can prove it to you. If we just drive it off of this and flip it over like so, and then we get the wheels to come to a complete stop on both the front and back, and then we accelerate, only the rear wheels move. The front wheels are basically stationary. They have a little bit of momentum left from when the crash happened, but that is not 4-wheel drive. That is rear-wheel drive, because I was driving this around and I'm like, is this really 4-wheel drive? And I had to test it because it didn't feel like 4-wheel drive. And I was right. This thing is purely rear-wheel drive. So don't trust everything you read. I'd be willing to bet what happened was the author of this mod had a mod installed that gave you the option to have 4-wheel drive on the 200BX. But because I don't have that mod installed, I don't get the 4-wheel drive on the 200BX because this car is a custom version of it. You're not going to find it in the normal vehicle selector. There's a custom part and tuning configuration that is exclusive to this scenario. Now, if you really like this car and you wanted to drive it outside of the scenario, there's a way to kind of export cars out of the scenarios to be used in free roam if you really wanted to. And I kind of want to do that on the Sunburst you can find that's actually made by the developers of the game that's really jacked up and it's like the Super Rally version. I kind of want to do that to that car because that one is like an official car that's only available in that scenario, which is kind of weird. Like for an official car to not be available in free roam is strange. And usually I don't bother with like all of the configuration packs and all that because I never really feel the need to have more configurations to the stock vehicles. Usually the stock ones feel like they're pretty good, especially the ones like the Barstow and the Moonhawk. Those ones have a bunch of configuration options. It's like I don't really feel the need to have more because there's already so many here that I can't even use all of them. Maybe for a vehicle like the Grand Marshal, it makes a little bit more sense where you only have like 4 different options, but on some cars where you have tens of options, yeah, you don't need more configurations usually. Anyways though, enough talking about car configurations, let's kind of talk about these tracks for a bit. So all the tracks are kind of similar in theme. You have a real brightly colored road that has a lot of big elevation changes and big curves, and your goal is just to stay on the track and complete a lap of it. In this situation, some of you have to complete multiple laps though. And at this point, we're basically at the top and we'll be going down real soon. And I gotta make sure I don't go too fast because right here, you can get going really fast accidentally. And if you start going really fast, you're just gonna fly off the edge. And I really, really don't wanna do that. And this one's the easiest though because it doesn't give you a lot of scenarios where you're going really fast like this and then you have a corner right after it. The harder ones, they give you a lot of locations where it's like you got a lot of room to gain speed and then you got to come really slowing down to go around the next corner. And also, this is the slowest car in all the scenarios, so it's a little bit easier to keep yourself out of trouble when you have a slower car. So anyways, there is a completion of the scenario in 2 minutes and 21 seconds. We can go and kind of fly off the track a little bit. Oh, we did that without getting any damage. Let's fix that. And there we go. There's some damage. And now we can go ahead and move on to the next scenario, which is the next in difficulty. That one is called Vertigo. Vertigo. Hirochi have beefed up their Sunburst model with their latest edition of the Sunburst being a tuned, reinforced edition. And I read that exactly as how it's written. It's just written kind of awkwardly. This is no ordinary Sunburst though. Make sure you take it to its limits through 2 laps of the twisting Vertigo track. Good luck! Again, I have to add it myself. One thing that's kind of funny, the first time I did this scenario, I didn't read what it said. So I did 1 lap. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I just flew the car off of the track. And then I realized, oh, wait, I was supposed to do another lap. So it's a good thing I did that before I started recording the video and that I actually read the descriptions when I record the video. Otherwise, I'd be doing that in camera and you guys would all be calling me an idiot. Like, why would you drive right off the track when you got 2 laps to do? And the answer would be real simple. Because I didn't read it. I'm dumb for doing that. Thankfully, though, by the time I was actually ready to record it, I realized that was going to happen. Also, this scenario is hard for reasons that you would not expect. Kind of weird, right? First is that this car is prone to overheating by the time the second lap is commencing. Like, if you look at the temperature gauge, it's getting up there. We're not quite where the temperature is in the orange on the little gauge and then, like, filled up, but it's getting real close. The other thing is this corner right here is evil. This corner is evil. If you go through it at any sort of speed, you can have things in your car just get ripped to shreds. Like, right there, I went pretty slow, but it still managed to rip a piece of my car off like that. And if you go fast enough, it will pop your tires. Right there, I actually managed to pop the tire going that slow. And it's not because I'm going in the opposite direction. It's just the way the corner is. So if you try to, like, bust through here like that, boom. RR, tire deflated. And also right now, you see the coolant is overheating. That is not from the damage to the car, by the way. That is from just driving the car so hard. So I really don't know if you should be pushing the car to its limits. I'm going to go ahead and do this again, though, and do it properly. And to do it properly, you're going to want to use a manual transmission. Just make sure you keep the revs down a bit so you don't end up cooking the engine like I just did. So let's go ahead, put this thing to manual mode. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure basically every shift happens between like 5,000 and 6,000 RPMs. We're going to try to avoid the 7,000 and 8,000 RPM range, because if we get up in there, that's going to cause us to overheat. But if we keep it down just 2,000 RPMs or so, we should be fine. And yes, that means we'll be going slower than if we were really pushing the car to its limits. But if we push the car to its limits, it would overheat so bad that we wouldn't be able to finish the scenario because the car would fail. And if I have the choice of failing the scenario or completing it a little bit slowly, the choice should be obvious. I want to complete the scenario, not fail it over and over and over again for a real stupid reason. Like, that'd be just dumb to not do what I'm doing. Like, if you know you can make sure you win it by just using manual transmission, then you do that, you know? And obviously not pushing the car too is part of that. But you notice right now, oil temperature is about a little bit over the comfort zone type of thing, but it's not nearly overheating like it was before. And I think on this corner, one of the secrets to not getting your car damaged is to go on the outer edge. Because if you look at it like here, you see, if you go to the inner edge, all the bumps are really close to each other, so you're more likely to get caught on something. If you're on the outer edge like this, the bumps are a little more separated, which makes it a little bit harder to get caught on those edges. Now, you could go fast on the outer edge and be less likely to get caught, but I tried going really fast on the outer edge, and my wheel was still getting caught. And right there, I totally forgot I was in manual mode. That was great. That's how you overheat the engine. Thankfully, I was sitting there for a second to kind of explain that, so that gave the engine a second for it to cool, hopefully, and it will be totally fine. It's actually kind of hard to keep the RPMs down on those hills, though. Like, you end up getting up in the RPMs just to kind of keep your momentum because they're so steep. Anyways, we are at 7 out of 10 on the first lap. And I think it'll only take about 4 minutes to do both if I'm not stopping all the time. But what I want to do afterwards is definitely show you that you do, like, entirely overheat the engine. Because that almost is a design flaw in a way. Like, I mean, the other option is to try to just not floor it. But if the description tells you to push it to its limits, are you really not going to floor it? You know? Oh, here's another corner. It's a little evil. It's not as bad as the other one. But again, stay on the outside edges. They are a lot safer. Same with that one. Whenever you see all the grid lines really bunching up, those are the bad corners. So there's one lap, and that's where I flew off the map right there the first time. I was like, yeah, I'm done. Woo! And whoops, made a mistake. Not going to make that mistake twice. Now I'm pushing it a little bit more, though, just because I know I have less distance to cover. Like, I'm already halfway, so even if it starts to overheat, it probably won't fail. In fact, it probably won't even damage itself by the time I finish it, I would think. Well, it might get damaged now that I think about it. So you shouldn't push it too hard. But as you see, though, we're staying in a real good comfort zone for the temperature this whole time. I mean, it's warm, but it's not causing damage. That's all that's important. Anyways, though, the map itself is pretty good, though. I think it has nice elevation changes. Like, I really like these elevation changes where they're huge changes. Well, a little bit of overheating right there. I saw my gauge start to change colors, so careful about that. No, I was saying I was going to push it, but I still got half a lap to go. One thing that's kind of weird, it almost looks like the edge of the map, or the edge of the track, it's blurry in the distance. So, like, you look over here, it's kind of like, it looks like it's spray painted, right? But you look over here, it's like a nice solid color. And as you get closer to it, it looks like less of a solid color. I mean, less of a spray painted color and more of a solid color. It's just kind of weird as you drive along it. Oh, wow. Just that right there. Ha! That is, yeah, we're burning off coolant now. I could probably just floor it till the end, but I don't want to take the risk. Ooh, I shouldn't have took that one so much on the inside. That's one of those corners that's a little bit evil. The first one I showed you, though, that one's the worst. Like, that's the one I've gotten caught on a lot. The other ones, it seems like you might get caught on them, but I don't know if I even have for sure. All right, we're just going to go for it. Well, actually, I shouldn't go for it because I could also fall off the map. Can't be having that either. I'm so torn on how to approach this. Head gasket. Uh-oh. We only got one more checkpoint, though. That's not an issue. There we go. Complete. And we'll fly off the track here. We did it in a little bit over 4.5 minutes. Can you drive? Yes, you can. Proud of you. All right, so now let's go ahead and push this car hard in automatic mode and try to get the car to grenade before we finish the second lap. And I'm almost certain we could do this even if we weren't pushing it that hard. If we were driving at a leisurely rate, I'm pretty sure we could do that if we're using the automatic transmission. But I want to make sure we do what the description says. And the description told you to push it. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to push it. I'm going to push it so hard I almost fall off the edge right there. Maybe we won't push it that hard. I don't want to be falling off the edge all over the place. I just want to push it enough to overheat it. And I'm pretty sure most of it comes from when you're on the straightaways. As long as you're flooring it, it's going to overheat real fast. You can brake a little bit earlier in the corners and not have to worry about much. In fact, braking earlier in the corners might make it overheat even faster because you're carrying less momentum, so you're going to be on the power even more. Either way, though, we're not even halfway through this first one. Coolant is already overheating. So we got smoke coming off the car and everything. Whoa, getting a little sketchy here. I do want to slow down a lot here, though, because, whoa, frame rate just dipped right there. I don't want a flat tire while I'm trying to drive fast. Oh, well, it happened anyways. I slowed down and everything, but we still got a flat tire. I would think, if anything, the flat tire would make the coolant raise a little bit faster, but the amount will be so minimal, I don't know if it would make a difference. And the reason it would make a difference is because the tire is not able to put the power down as good, so you'll have more loss of power. So you have to rev the engine higher to go the exact same speed. At least that's what I would assume would happen. I've never actually done any super in-depth testing to see how it would affect things. But piston rings are already damaged. Head gasket damage happened a while ago. Piston rings are damaged too now. We haven't even completed one lap yet, and this thing, all it has left is for the oil to start overheating, and then connecting rod bearings will become damaged, and then failure is imminent at that point. And we've completed almost one lap at this point, and it's spewing it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, that was bad. I give the car a chance to cool down right here as I keep the revs low to spin around because I made a mistake. So even with the car getting a little bit of a chance to kind of just sit at idle to cool down, I'm pretty sure we can get this thing to a grenade. We got one more lap. Shouldn't be a problem. I did that in a 126. That's not bad. If I was really pushing it, and I didn't have a flat tire and I didn't spin out, I could probably do a lap in under 2 minutes. That's why I spun out, by the way. It's because I have a flat tire. All right, oil is overheating. It just told me the oil is overheating. That means death to the car. Very, very soon. I could definitely feel, though, how much slower the car has been ever since it got damaged. Like, I'm flooring it and not much is happening. All right, connecting rod bearings damaged. Failure should be in like 15 seconds. This usually doesn't last very long. That's it. That was less than 15 seconds. And there we go. I never damaged the radiator. It's worth noting. I never damaged it. The car is basically undamaged, but it's not going to drive anymore because of that. Wheel damage don't count. So yeah, that's kind of funny. Anyways, let's go ahead and go to the next scenario, which is called Layered Raceway. Also, one thing I'm thinking about, the developers of the game need to add a check. Like, if your car is overheated and it's immobilized, it should probably come up with the screen that says, hey, you failed the scenario. Just something I'm thinking about. Anyways, on to Layered Raceway. Layered Raceway. Orochi have also bumped up their SBR with a power-hungry monster. Slide it through the looping challenge of the Layered Raceway and survive 3 laps behind the wheel of a raging beast. And I know the description is telling you to slide it, but I really don't know if you should, because this is a really bad place to slide the car, because when you start to skid on this road, your frame rate will just drop. And I think the best place to really demonstrate that is under deceleration, kind of. But like right here, you can kind of see, like, we had a pretty big lag spike right there. And you notice when I stopped sliding, it kind of lurches forward because it stops lagging. Looks kind of weird like that, but I think if I do something like this, that would be the best way to show this. And I'm gonna fall off the edge here probably, but I just want to. There you go. Do you see all that lag? Look at how bad that is. Oh! But then the second we fall off and we stop skidding, boom, 60 FPS. And I checked, by the way, on the regular terrain over here, that's grid map. That doesn't seem to be an issue. It's only the roads that you're actually driving on. So let's try to keep the sliding down to a minimum and don't go around a corner thinking I'm the drift king or something like that, because if I do that, then it will get laggy real fast. But if you slide just a little bit, kind of like that, it doesn't seem like it lags too hard. But it's like if you really, really start to drift and you really put the rubber down, that's when the lag happens. And it can be messy when you start to lag, and it's really deceptive. Like if you're braking, sometimes you'll slide and then you'll lag at the same time. So it looks like you're going 30 miles per hour. So you think, oh, I'm going about 30 miles per hour. I can let up on the brakes a little bit. And then the second you do that, you realize, oh, wait, I was going 60 miles per hour, and you fly off the edge of the course because you didn't brake enough, because you let up on the brakes when you really shouldn't have. Now, speaking from experience here, that has happened to me quite a few times. Or a similar thing happens when you're drifting. You're drifting around a corner, and you're sliding, you're like, I could totally drift this corner, and then the drift just doesn't happen because you think, I'm drifting at a pretty low speed. There's no reason I couldn't do this. And then you realize, wait a minute, this is not a 20 mile per hour drift, it's a 40 mile per hour drift, and then you're already gone by the time that happens, and it's too late. Again, speaking from experience, so you really, really got to keep those slides down to a minimum. And it's more important to do it with this car than the other ones, it feels like, because this car is able to create lag really, really fast because of how much power it has. It's able to just make such huge skid marks so easily. That's why it's harder to control this one than the other ones in terms of like that kind of thing. Because this was an issue on the other ones, as far as I can remember. It just wasn't as bad. And kind of funny. This is supposed to be number 3 out of 4 in terms of hardness, but honestly, I would say this one's probably the hardest, just because it's kind of that is deceptive in itself, but then the track itself is also deceptive, kind of. Like you'll look at a corner, you're like, I could do this at 40 miles per hour, but then you can't, and you fly off the edge anyways. Like the track just like it tricks you. Like you'll be looking at it, I can do this. No, you can't. But the track makes you think you can. Because it's done that to me a few times. I'll be like cruising along at 40 miles per hour through like a real long turn. I can speed up a bit. Whoops, slide off the edge. The other thing is the way you slide off too sucks. Most of the time, I don't fly off the track or anything. I just go a little bit too fast, and then one wheel will hang off the edge. My car will tip. So I'll have 3 wheels on the track, it looks like, but one of them is just a few inches off the ground. And then the 4th wheel is hanging off the edge, and then, well, you can't go anywhere when that happens. You are stuck. And when that happens, just gotta restart. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. Even if you fly off, you just gotta restart. There's no way back on these tracks. Like, there are a few places where it looks like, oh, maybe I can get back on it. I tried once after I fell off. I just wrecked my car. Like, right here, it looks almost like you could hop it and get back on the track, right? Almost looks like you can. That's the key, almost. I mean, maybe you could after a lot of tries, but, you know, I had only a couple of tries before my car was wrecked, so that wasn't happening. Whoa! See right there, half mile per hour more, we're done. We are done. Also, somehow I managed to crash right there, kind of like that. I ended up hitting it in a crooked way where it bounced my car off, and I ended up falling off the edge. That sucked. I was like, how could you even fail there? I didn't know you could, but I found a way. That was rough. I've had quite a few attempts at this, though, that have failed, and it looks like we're having a good attempt so far. I just got to do one more lap, and I am going slow because I do not want to have to do this again. It gets frustrating doing the same thing over and over and over, so I'm like, let's go nice and careful through this thing, although I was real close to the edge right there. I mean, one mistake and you're gone. And another thing is, I treat the edges of the track a lot of the time. I end up treating them kind of like the apex of the corner. It's like, you really don't want to do that. Like, you don't want to go right on the edge of the track. You want a little bit of room. You don't want to be like that. You want to be like that at the worst. So you have a little bit of room in case something goes wrong and you need to adjust, or you misalign yourself or whatever. Predict things wrong. I don't know. But you want to make sure you don't do that. Right here, I've messed up on this one a couple of times. Like, everything is so deceptive. Like, just take your time. You know, I'm not going 10 miles per hour and like a granny or nothing. But we gotta just take our time here. We're almost done. Don't want to blow it now. You know, I'm not setting no records. I never do. Whoa, got it. I think I had to put the power on right there to make sure I could stay on there. I started to slide a little bit more than I thought I was gonna. It's like right there. I thought, wow, that thing braked good. No, wait, it's lag. Don't let up on the brakes. I almost let up on the brakes right there, and I would have flown off the edge, and we would have been done. We have 2 checkpoints left, and we wouldn't have made it. That would have sucked. 1 more checkpoint. Super careful, super careful. Come on. There it is, there it is. Go, 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 go. Drift it. Oh my goodness, that was so laggy. I didn't care that I fell off there though, because I saw a success. That's all I was looking for. And what I want to try to do just for fun is try to jump back on the track in that one section. I don't know if I should try to get off the track here or later. I think here might be okay. It's not that big of a hop. What? Okay, try this again then. I figured I'd make that. No, you ain't. You ain't gonna make that. I guess I gotta, whoa. See, that you like when you take off too, you notice that? We'll do it more like this. There we go. Radiator damaged? That didn't even look that hard. Whatever, doesn't matter. I was gonna damage it anyways. See the sliding through here? Oh, there is a little bit of lag when you slide through here. Weird, when I tested it earlier, it didn't seem to lag. Huh. See, now it's not lagging. Oh no. Weird. Whoa, don't crash! That's fine. That's totally fine. That's the way the car was designed. It was designed with the wheel not being quite equal with the other one. Alright, let's see. I think we just kind of want to drive up on this like this. We got 1 attempt at this basically because I'm going to probably wreck it afterwards. Nope, that's wrong. Come on, upright and keep driving. Alright, we got 1 more try. 1 more try. Thinking, is there anything on the inside? Nah, not on the inside. Alright. Maybe what I should do is try to land on this part where it kind of straightens out. So I have like some room to slow down. I don't know. It's, oh, maybe I could do it like this. I'll come from this side and go reversed on the track. And then I have a pretty good straightaway to fix myself up on, I think. We'll zoom out a lot to make sure that works. Yeah, okay. I have an idea. Let's see what happens. Can we get back on the track somehow? Bouncing all over the place. No! By the way, that's not going to happen at all. Like, that is too big of a lip. We would have needed to fly, and unfortunately, it's hard to get in that position to fly it. And I don't care enough to try it again, so let's just move on to the next scenario, which is called Trackmania, like the video game Trackmania. Trackmania survived 3 test tracks with the new Hirochi Sunburst Race Edition. With the latest technology advances, the Hirochi Sunburst has new tricks up its sleeve. Hirochi stresses you to test the new hybrid. Use all of the power in the engine and power slide through corners to push it to its limits. It likes telling you to power slide. Like, these are not the corners you want to power slide though. These are the corners you want to just brake and carefully go through them. Now these corners are a lot tighter than the other ones, but honestly I think I'm better at these ones because I see how tight they are and I'm like, oh, I should slow down. The other ones I'm like, oh, that doesn't look that bad. Woo! We're flying off the edge. These ones like, oh, that looks tight. Let me slow down a lot. So I'm not driving as good, but I'm driving a lot more safer without thinking about it. Like, I'm just like, oh, let me slow down a bit. That looks like a tight corner. Let me really slow down. And like, I mean, I really slowed down, but I'm still like going decently fast through them. But they're like scary enough for me to actually slow down enough where it doesn't mess me up. Like that looks sloped and steep and crazy. We're slowing down. I like this one that has multiple colors. Like this one, you start on the red, then you go to the green, and then you go to the yellow. And on one of the transitions between the 2 tracks, it's kind of rough and you can damage your car. I'm going to damage it intentionally just to show you. Hopefully we don't damage it in an unrepairable way. If that happens, well, I guess we'll have to try again, huh? Also, this is the normal like rally skin, but it's painted green. If you're wondering like why the car looks kind of funky, that's why. Kind of caught me off guard at first. I'm like, what color is this then? I was like, wait, oh wait, I know what it is. Come on, come on, stay on the road, stay on the road. Woo! Kind of lost it there at that transition. It bumped me. And that's not even the hard one. That's the easier one. I heard just a bit of a bump, and then I started sliding, man. See, again, this corner looks scary. It's like, I'm going to slow down, and then I don't crash. I wish all corners are that scary. It'd make me a better driver. Maybe I just need to fear all the corners. Now I'm starting to fear even these ones. I'm like, I'm going to slow down on this one too, just because I don't trust this thing. I don't trust you, so I'm going to slow down. I don't trust this either, so I'm going to slow it down. Almost got caught off guard by the braking skids. Looked like I was going slower than I really was. All right, so this transition between the two. I might fall off. I might destroy the car. I don't know. Let's see what happens. We're going to go fast, though. Like you're trying to set a record kind of fast. Oh! Okay, we're good. So we damaged the radiator, spun out a bit, but I wasn't going to try to save that. Like, I probably could have saved that and kept driving. But if I was just to say, you know what, let's just stop it on the road, it was a lot safer of a choice to make. Like, if I did that, I had a 90% chance of keeping it on the road. If I tried to keep going with all my momentum, I had a 10% chance of keeping it on the road probably. So with the radiator blown or damaged or whatever, we should be able to still finish this. We only have a couple of checkpoints left. Well, okay, 6 more checkpoints left. I don't think it'll be an issue. But again, this one doesn't feel as hard as the other one. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel as hard to me. Like, I told you why I think, but that's just a guess. Like, it's kind of hard to objectively say why something's more difficult than the other, you know? But to me, that's why I think it's easier for me. Is because the corners are steeper, so I fear them. Right there, that looks scary. We're gonna really, whoa, slam on the brakes, slam on the brakes. Yeah, like that one right there. It made me slow down because I was scared. One thing that's kind of funny is this one you could actually fall off of the edge and complete it. I think. I don't know if I really want to do that, but I think you could. Like if I fell off, I could get back on the road and complete it. It would take forever, but it is technically possible. Because there's no reason not that you can't, I think. So anyways, I think that will do it for this episode of BeamNG.drive. Till next time, this has been WhyBeAre. I'll see ya.